What if hackers are already inside your network right now? Without proper access layer security, your switches are wide open to ARP spoofing, rogue DHCP servers, and unauthorized access. In this video, I'll reveal how Radius and TACACS Plus stop 99% of network breaches and show you exactly how to configure them step by step. Stay until the end to see how we catch a live attacker trying to bypass authentication. The access layer is the level at which users connect to the network. It is the connection point between the network and any client device. Protecting the access layer therefore means protecting users, applications, and the network itself against any malicious attacks or even human errors. It is possible to mitigate most of these threats by using certain features. For example, the secure port, which allows you to filter and restrict the number of MAC addresses allowed to connect to a switch's port. Or with DHCP Snooping, which is also used on a switch, and which prevents a malicious DHCP server from being plugged into a network. DHCP Snooping is used to filter out DHCP requests that are not allowed. And the last feature that could be implemented to reduce the risk is to protect yourself from ARP spoofing attacks. It is a security that allows you to validate ARP packets in the network. ARP spoofing consists of broadcasting an ARP packet, which changes the ARP table to redirect traffic destined for one machine to another. Basically, it can be seen as identity usurpation. That is to say, one piece of equipment on the network will pretend to be another in order to receive the packets that were intended for it. This is where DAG comes in, which allows you to check that a MAC address has obtained its IP via the authorized DHCP server. These three features help provide additional security and protection on network resources. Authentication, Authorization, Accounting. We will now talk about authentication servers, which make it possible to verify users who log in, regardless of their physical location. Without this type of authentication, it greatly reduces user mobility. For example, a person who wants to access the accounting VLAN will have to enter this service and connect to a port of the switch that belongs to this VLAN. User mobility is now a priority for companies. That's why it's best to use an authentication server. This concept allows users to be verified at the moment they connect to the switch. They will be authenticated and automatically placed in the VLAN based on their profile types. And if a user is not recognized, then their access will either be denied or they will be placed in a guest VLAN with restrictions. On small networks, local authentication is more than sufficient. On the other hand, if you have several hundred users and several network devices, then it would be better to use an authentication server. For example, if you have 100 switches on the network and a new user arrives, then you will have to add it to all the network devices. And in addition, if you add a switch, then you will also have to add all the user accounts so that they can access this new equipment. An authentication server is also known as a 3A server. The 3A stands for Authentication, Authorization, and Accounting, also known as Traceability. The first A, for authentication, consists of determining whether the user or the device is who it claims to be, using username password authentication or with a certificate. The second A, for authorization, determines the user's rights to the various network resources. And the last A, for accounting, allows users to track the use of resources. The two most popular types of 3A servers are Radius and TACACS. The Radius protocol is based on a client-server system, which is responsible for defining user access on the network. This is the protocol used by internet service providers, as it offers accounting features, which allows them to invoice their customers accurately. And the TACACS protocol works in the same way, except that it is used on Unix platforms instead. Whether using Radius or TACACS Plus, all authentication requests are forwarded to the 3A server, which will authorize or deny the user. Before ending the course, we will see the different stages of its operation. To get started, the client is prompted to enter a username and password. Then, the network device forwards an access request to the Radius or TACACS server, along with the user's login data. The authentication server validates this connection request and recovers the rights related to the client. And finally, the customer receives the agreement or not to authenticate on the network. If they are authorized, then they will have access to the resources in their profile.